Okay, I think we're about to start our lesson. Hi, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to anyone. Welcome to the third session of this fifth day of UNS Fintech Summer School. So today can be the last day of this course. And UNS Fintech Summer School 2020 hosted by Center for Fintech and Banking UNS in collaboration with International Office UNS. Okay, everyone, my name is Saiful, and I will be the moderator for this session. This session will discuss about Module 5B, Fintech Collaboration and Application in Creative Economy Industry, with our invited instructor, Ms. Hanifah Makarim. I want to say hi to Ms. Hanifah.
Hi, everybody. It's nice to meet you.
Okay, Ms. Hanifah, how are you feeling right now?
Yeah, I'm great. It's good to meet you all, even though it's only virtual.
Yeah, thank you for joining with us. And this module will talk about fintech collaboration and application in creative economy industry. As we know that technology never stops developing and often helps people to meet what their needs. More and more new business opportunities can be developed, and of course, creative economy industry is one of them. Okay, everyone, before we start to the instructor presentation, I would like to remind all students pertaining to several things. The first one, student can participate in this session. If you have any question, you can submit your question through Zoom chat box. Please mention your name and the question. You can also use raise hand feature if you want to give a live question to instructor. And then the second one, please turn on your video during the class and change your name into the format student ID underscore your name. Your student ID for the summer school can be found in the student list that we have shared to your email. And students have to fill the attendance list when I request of you to fill it. Use your summer school student ID and what module are you joining right now. And the session is module 5B. Okay, this module you are joining right now is module 5B. For further information, you can refer to UNS Fintech Summer School booklet that we have said before. Alright, let's meet our instructor for this module. She is an acting director of Access to Finance, Deputy for Industry and Investment, Ministry of Tourism and Creative Economy. To Ms. Hanifah Makarim, you will be given about 45 minutes until 1 hour to deliver the material. After that, we will continue Q&A session. Okay, I think we can start now. Ms. Hanifah, the time is yours.
Okay. Thank you, Saiful. Good evening, good morning for everybody. It is nice to meet you all from 14 countries. And I think this is the last day of your summer course, right? So I think so far you already got a lot of material from the previous instructor. So what I'm going to say here is just the focusing of the fintech in creative industry. I have my presentation. Please share. Okay, as mentioned from the moderator, I am from the Minister of Tourism and Creative Economy. This minister is a new combination of two minister before. So before we have a Minister of Tourism and Minister of Creative Economy. Now we are together as one. Yes, next. So I think we all know about fintech. What is fintech? The definition of fintech. So I think I will skip the first definition of fintech from. So in my opinion, fintech is a very good innovation because in this era, we all, yeah, we can change to the next page, please. What is fintech? The next, description innovation. So I think fintech is very innovative because I think in this era, uh, only bank is not enough. So especially in the creative industry, which is people are more flexible, not in the traditional way, just like in other industries. Okay. Next. So why we need fintech? I think that's because bank cannot serve the traditional way. We all need a new way of financial institution, and in this time, fintech give a good solution because society is looking for alternative funding. Uh, they need more variety. They need easier, more transparent, quicker than bank. That's why fintech is very important, especially in the creative industry. Yes, next. Next page, please. Okay, this is industrial revolution. I think all you know about the industrial revolution. Now we are in the industrial 4.0. Now we are moving to the society Y 5.0. So industrial is very important. Internet is very important. We cannot live without that nowadays. Okay, next. Yeah, we'll skip the. Okay, this one is the evolution of fintech. I think you may get this from previous instructor. So the first fintech is because of the ATM, automatic teller machine. I think it's also one good innovation because it's make us easier. We don't have to go to the bank to get the money to transfer and everything. And nowadays we can do everything on our mobile. Okay, next. Okay, this is the growth of fintech in Indonesia. As you all know, Indonesia have a lot of people here in Indonesia. Now I think we are 260 million people in Indonesia. It's very wide, and we have more than 17,000 islands spread all over Indonesia. So fintech is a good way. So in Indonesia, most fintech now is P2P lending, peer-to-peer lending. That's what the most fintech in Indonesia, and also payment, especially nowadays, people are more convenient to use cashless. So we have a lot of payment uh, in fintech, and also crowdfunding, equity, wealth management, insurance, and others. But the most in Indonesia is P2P lending and payment gateway for fintech. This is the growth. Now we have around 61 fintech in Indonesia. This is the legal, which is already got the license for fintech. Okay. Okay, next. Okay, so now is please show the number 9, the slide number 9, fintech development in Indonesia. So in Indonesia, the most player is in payment business, 43%, and loans also is 17%, and the other is crowdfunding, which is, I think, crowdfunding nowadays is not too familiar. I mean, not many people knows about crowdfunding. People in Indonesia more familiar with loan. This is the profile of fintech in Indonesia. As we can see, the growth is very fast. In 2006, we only have 4, and now we already have 165 fintech in Indonesia. Okay, next. So what is fintech rules to support the Indonesian financial service? So fintech can contribute in the maximum of economic growth. Can support the bank, so also can stable the financial system, and it is inclusive. That means it's not only exclusive for some people, but it is open for anyone who want to join, who want to have fintech. So it is open uh, open access for everybody. Okay, next page, please. The role of fintechs in Indonesia. So as we know, Indonesia is a big country. We have a lot of SME, small, medium enterprise. So the role of fintech, one is to encourage the SME to export, because most of them are still very low and they don't have access to export. And with fintech, they are of Indonesian institution. So I think we can go to the slide number 16, please. The capital access challenge. Slide 16, capital access challenge. So next. We do the survey with our bureau of, and then this is the survey. Slide 16, please. The one with colorful capital access challenge. So most of the SME, small medium enterprise, 92% they have their own equity to start their business. That's big. So at the first, they cannot go to the bank for sure. So they start with their own equity. It could be their own or from their parents or from their friends. So it's not a big amount of money, I think, because I think it's limited. So it's 92% of the equity came from owners' equity, and only 24.4% get the capital from bank. Why is only 24%? I think that's because when we go to the bank, a bank usually asks for collateral. And that's the problem with creative industry, especially the one that is very new, just start. They don't have the asset yet, or their asset is the intellectual property. They don't have the tangible asset. They don't have the fixed asset. That's the problem. When they go to the bank, usually bank will say no because they don't have asset for collateral. And only it's less than 1% people know other access for financial. It could be venture capital, it could be angel investor, it could be philanthropy, and also it could be fintech nowadays. So that's our rules in the minister to open more access for the especially in the creative industry, so the business they can access more financial than only bank. Okay, next page, please. That's what we do now in the minister. We have some program which is the goal is to make the business meet the financial institution. So we are just like the matchmaker. So we help the business people, the entrepreneur, to meet the financial institution. So we have in several subsector, such as in culinary, food and beverage is one of the biggest subsector in Indonesia, and also in digital apps, we have a lot of talented young people who make apps that now is growing and growing. That's what we do with the fintech now. Yes, next page, please. Yes, next. So as I mentioned before, not everybody knows about fintech. That's our rule. We have to make fintech is more common, more famous in Indonesia. So we do like publication for the entrepreneur that fintech is one of financial support they can use for their business. So this is what we are doing every year. We make the platform for the entrepreneur to meet the financial institution. I think that's all from my presentation. Maybe you will have more in question. So I'll give back to the moderator. Please, Saiful, thank you. Hello, Saiful.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Hanifah Makarim, for
Yes.
the material. I will remind to our student if you guys have question, you can submit your question to the Zoom chat box. Also, you can use raise hand feature for live question. Okay, Ms. Hanifah, there is a question for you. Can you give a brief landscape on SME in Indonesia?
Okay. So now we have around 5.6 million SMA in Indonesia. And mostly there are home industry. They start from their home So it's very like a family business. They start from their home, and maybe only two people, and then they can grow until they have a employee. And most the SMA in Indonesia, the subsector, the first one is culinary, food and beverage is number one, and then second is in fashion. We are also very good in fashion, and the third is in crafting. As you know, Indonesia have a very large culture, so the crafting is one of our uh, strong. And the other SMA is in I think it's in film, but not too many. Mostly in culinary, fashion, and crafting. Before the pandemic era, most of our SMA is a non-digital SMA. They don't have access to the digital. I mean, they do the distribution for the market is mostly offline. I mean, a traditional way. But nowadays, because of the pandemic, if the SMA cannot do the digital, so they will left out because now we most of us do the shopping online. Anything we can buy, anything we can buy food, we can buy anything online. So if the SMA they don't do digital, so they will left out, and then they cannot grow, I think. But the growing is very fast now. During the pandemic, the last few months is more than the increasing of SMA who is doing digital. Now is very good in the good way, I think.
Okay, so it can be on the food, on the craft, and
Fashion,
anything, yeah, in
yes,
Asia.
yeah.
Okay, thank you, Miss Hanifah. For the next question, there is a student who raised the hand
Mm.
for Alifah.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe you can deliver your question.
Okay, thank you for the chance, Mas Saiful. Uh, Ibu Hanifah Makarim, I have
Yeah,
two questions.
please.
Okay, first, for today, what is the biggest challenges for SMEs to access, to get an access to financing? Because in this current era, we know that there are many kinds of financing that actually SME can access, like peer-to-peer lending, and then anything from the digital uh, services. But is there still any challenges for SMEs to access the financing? And then regarding the problems or the challenges, has paragraph take some efforts to solve the problems? I think
Okay,
that's all. Thank you.
okay. Thank you, Alifa. Uh, I think for SMA, first, the main problem is they don't have a good financial report. That's the problem. Because when we want to expand our business, we want more funding, we go for investor, we go to the bank. And they for sure they will ask the financial report. How is your business going for the last months, for the last few years? If they don't have financial report, and then how can the investor evaluate your business? That's the first problem and the biggest problem, I think. So what we are doing is we encourage the SMA to learn how to make the financial report. I mean, it's not, it doesn't have to be very sophisticated report or audited. by the auditor. No, but they can start from very simple way. Nowadays, we can find so many application. It's free. We can find, so we can download any application there. So we can do the simple financial report. That's the first problem, I think. And the other one is collateral. So when you go to the bank, for sure, bank will ask for collateral. And some other fintech also asking for collateral. That's the biggest problem for SME, I think. As the business is just start, so they don't have the asset yet. And let's say, if the business is like animation studio, I think they don't have so many fixed asset. They don't need a fancy office. Maybe they only need a small room. They only have 2 or 3 people working there with their laptop. So they don't have asset, but they have the intellectual property. That's the problem. When you go to the bank cannot give you the loan because you don't have the asset. So what we are doing here in Indonesia, the government help to pay some of the collateral. So we pay to the another institution to support the collateral. So when the SME go to the bank or fintech or others, they can support by the government. So I think it will help the government. I think
Okay,
yeah.
thank you so much, Miss Hanifah Makarim. So for Alifah, is there any feedback for your question, or is that enough?
I think it is enough for now. Thank you, Mrs. Hanifah
Okay,
Makarim.
Yeah.
okay, Miss Hanifah. There are also some questions from students.
Mm-hmm.
The next question is from Gama from Indonesia. He
Mm-hmm.
said that thank you for your presentation, Ms. Hanifah. I want to go deep with food startup in Indonesia program delivered by the ministry. Does the ministry also contribute for the funding on startup? And do the startup are required to digitalize their product service, especially for the SME? Is the program open for all kind of food business? Okay, that's the question for Ms. Hanifah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. For the food startup Indonesia, this year will be our 5th year. We are doing that since 2016. So, as I mentioned before, the main purpose of us is a matchmaker. We'll help the startup to meet the investor. That's what we are doing in Food Startup Indonesia. So we open the submission. It's open for anyone. It's a public open submission. So now we are in the step of created the application. So far, we got more than 6,000 application for the Food Startup Indonesia. So first, we curate the business. What is the most what we curate first is the possibility of the startup to scale up. That's the first key. It's not only the taste of the food, but the possibility to scale up. Because uh, business is, and in my opinion, when we start a business, we also want the business to grow, right? It's not only small business. So we are looking for a startup who business can be scaled up in the next few years. So that's the first key. And then we bring into 2 categories. The first is food manufacturer, which is the business who have the what do you call, is ready to eat food or ready to eat, drink drink. So it's like packaging, cookies, sambal. We have so many sambal in Indonesia. So it's food manufacturing, the first category. And the second category is food service. What we mean with food service is like a restaurant, a small cafeteria, or a franchise business. Like there's a lot in Indonesia. So the curated participant, so we will have them in 1 week event. So the first, we will give them the mentoring. The mentoring will specify in different area. First, of course, how to grow their business, and also in different way. Let's say how to market their product, how to develop the packaging for their product, because packaging is very important. It's not only for the look, but also to extend the expired of the food. If we have the good packaging, the expired of the food will be longer. So the first 3 days, they will have the mentoring from us. And then on the last day, we will give them to pitch in front of the investor. We already curate the investor. So we give them the fact sheet of each business. And then on the last day, they will do the presentation for the investor. And then if the investor interested, they can continue dealing to the financial. That's what we are doing. And so far we have a lot of successful startup from Indonesia in the food business. One of the participants, when they start join our program, they only have, let's say, 5 employee, and then doing their business in a home, so like a home industry. So now when they join the our program, and then they met the investor, now they already have a big warehouse, and they already have a lot of employee, let's say almost 100 people now. So we help the startup to meet the investor. I hope that's answer your question.
Okay, thank you, Miss Hanifah. So, it's actually answered all of the question by the student about food or food startup in startup food session, right? Okay, for the next question, there is also a question from Joditia. She is from Indonesia. The question is, since the pandemic hit the world, which sector of SME or SMB that hits or received the most negative impact by the pandemic, and how the government react to support and maintain the SME? Thank you, Miss.
Okay, I think the most effective sector by the pandemic is the tourism. As we can see, I think it's in all over the world, in every country. Nobody ready with the pandemic. Nobody knows the pandemic yet. So the tourism is very effective. Let's say in Bali, now the tourist is almost zero. Nobody going to Bali for vacation. If you have go to Bali, I think you know that Bali is very beautiful. A lot of tourists from, I think, from all over the country. So nowadays is very effective. It's almost zero. And when we talk about tourism, it's not only the tourism itself, but also the surrounding area, the business around the tourism destination. So that's mean the food, the accommodation, the transportation, the souvenir shop is almost close their business. So what we are doing here in Indonesia as government, first, of course, this is our obligation to help the SMA so they still continue their business. They not lay off their employee. So we help in so many way. It's not only from our minister, but also from another institution in Indonesia. At first, we work together with the banking. So they gave a relaxation for the loan. So the SMA, they can postpone to pay the loan. They don't have to pay the loan now. They can pay after. That's one relaxation we do with the banking. And also from us, the government, we give a grant to the SMA, especially in the third three subsector. We will give them a loan, grant, and they have to apply and then give us the proposal of their business. Let's say in the next 2 years, what they're going to do with their business, what they need. Let's say they need some machine or others, and then we can give their grant. The program is still continue. This year, maybe the grant will be given in October or November. So I think it will help the SMA to survive the pandemic. I think that's the answer.
Okay, thank you very much, Miss Hanifah Makarim, for the answer. And there's still pretty a lot of time, so I will read the next question. There is a question from Adit, Indonesia. Hello, Miss Hanifah. I want to ask about the creative industry in Indonesia. As we know that you are the representative from the government, which is in Kemen Parekraf. I would like to know about what's plan that will government take for creative industry in digitalized era, and now we are in pandemic situation. Thank you.
So how to make the SMA going digital? Because I think if they don't keep up with the technology, they will live out. So what we are doing, we do a lot of mentoring, we do a lot of education for the SMA. Usually we do in a class, but nowadays because of the pandemic, we do the mentoring most in the webinar in online, so they can join. They can learn, let's say, how to uh, make the financial report, how to make the prediction of their business, how to win the market. We do the mentoring, and also we do the pitching forum for investor online in online. We also give the coaching clinic. We're working together with banking. So each bank will give the session and for the startup. Yes, I think it's
Okay, thank you, Miss Hanifah. There is also another question. From Nanda. Good afternoon, Miss Hanifah. I would like to ask about what will government do to attract the tourists to visit Indonesia again, and also how to make sure that it is already safe to open for foreign country to visit in after this pandemic.
okay. That's the main problem nowadays. We as tourists, let's say, we will go to one place if we feel safe. If we feel safe enough that the place that we are going is doing a health protocol. That's what we are doing. First, we do the we make the guideline for each subsector. Let's say how to do the health protocol in the hotel, how to do the health protocol in the food business, how to do in each area of the SMA. So we're working together with the local government to make sure that each of the attraction, the tourist attraction, is comply to the health protocol. So, and this year, I think in the next 2 years, we will focus to the domestic tourists, because nowadays for the international tourists, I think it's still difficult to travel from one country to another country. So in the next 2 years, we will focus to the domestic tourists. Let's say people from Indonesia, no, I mean people from Jakarta, they can do traveling uh, inside Indonesia, not too far. Now we have a highway, it's very easy to go from Jakarta to Central Java. It's only take us 5 hours by car to Central Java. So I think the trend of tourism in the next 2 years is will be not too far from where they live. So that's what we encourage the tourism attraction, the hotel, the homestay, that they have to follow the health protocol. That's the first uh, key. When we want to go, of course, we will see whether it is safe or not. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, Ms. Hanifah Makarim, for answering the question. Um, I think we already answer all of the question.
No, I think there's one question from Malaysia.
From Zasrin, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Is
Okay.
it fintech also for warung, right?
Yeah, for food small business.
Yes. I think fintech, they have different target. In as far as I know, some fintech, their target is the small business, which is warung, and then they can access to the fintech, and the person from the fintech is more, how to say, they go to find the warung more, because maybe people from warung, they don't really know the digital way, so it's like reach the target. So it's also for warung, different targeted. And I know some fintech, they give a small amount of loan, is targeted for a small business.
Okay. Thank you, Ms. Hanifah, for answering the question. And I'm really sorry for Zarin because I missed to read the question. But thank you again, Ms. Hanifah, for answering the question. And I think, oh, there is one last question from Gama, Indonesia.
Mhm.
What are, I'm sorry, one last question from me. If I admitted by the committee, what are the follow-up that the funded startup need to address to the ministry once they obtained willing investor from the Food Startup Indonesia program?
Okay, I try to understand the question first. So what the startup need to do when they meet the willingness investor? If I'm not mistaken, that's the question. So our job is to make the startup understand how to meet the investor, and also uh, the startup need also to know about the legal aspect of each agreement between the startup and the investor, because on the next step the agreement is will uh, it's from it will be uh, with the startup and the investor, not with us. So the startup have to know the legal aspect, how the term and condition for each agreement. So they can how to say, consult to us if they meet the startup. Sorry, if they meet the investor, they can consult to us. They can ask to us whether this is a good way or not to dealing with the investor.
Okay, Ms. Hanifah and Kama added the question again. And what are the beneficial for the ministry through this program, and what feedbacks do startup need to give the ministry after they got funding? So what is the
Okay.
feedback?
Yeah. The feedback, of course, they need to give us the report. We ask for a quarter report, or every semester they will give us a report. So we will know the progress of each startup. So that's our purpose, is to make the startup is bigger and more confidence and growing.
Okay, thank you so much, Ms. Hanifah, for answering the question.
Mm.
And I think that's all. There is no question again, or oh yeah. So we have, I think we have limited time, and we need to end the Q&A session after this. Thank you so much, Ms. Hanifah Makarim, for
Thank you.
the insightful and very good material. Or maybe you have last suggestion or motivation for us, for the young generation,
Mhm.
Ms. Hanifah?
Yeah, I think young generation is very how to say, is our biggest asset right now. You have very innovation thinking, so please do help uh, Indonesia and your country and the world to survive the pandemic with your bright idea in each era, in each area, not only in the fintech. You can do startup in every subsector. So we need you, the young people.
Okay, thank you so much, Ms. Hanifah. I think that's all. I hope we can meet in another time, right?
Yes.
Okay, because this is a pandemic situation, we can
Yes.
only meet by
Online.
Zoom right now. Yeah.
Okay
Okay,
then.
thank you so much, Miss Hanifah Makarim.
Yeah, it's my
Have a good
pleasure.
day.
Thank you. See you. Bye bye.
Bye bye, Miss. Okay, for all the students, so this is the end of the class. And before we end the session, after this, you guys need to fill the attendance list and fill the feedback through the link that we share after this in the Zoom chat box. So there will be two things that you fill. The first one is attendance list, and the second one is the feedback about this UNS Fintech summer course. And don't forget that this is the last session, and after this, on 4:15 p.m., on 4 p.m., there will be a final evaluation. The final evaluation will be led by the committee of UNS Fintech Summer School. So prepare yourself, do your best, and good luck.